Hello, everyone. Welcome to PCD Vinyl World. Today, I wanted to finally do a review of Ace Frehley's 10,000 Volts album, and also a review of the show I just saw last Saturday in Carteret, New Jersey, with actually Angel as well. So first, we're going to start with the album. Uh, this is I believe, the Sam Ass exclusive version, which is like clear with blue and red swirl, and it's autographed. My wife got me this for my birthday, and so it's produced by Steve Brown. I'm sure if you're a fan of his, you've seen all these interviews where they say that Steve Brown did a lot of the writing and guitar work and stuff like that, which definitely has a modern sound to the production. So I think Anton Fig, who's been his on and off drummer since the '78 solo album, did several of the tracks. Also, Joey Casada did a lot of his drum work on there as well. He was in a band called ZO2. I think they opened up for Kiss on the reunion tour a couple times, or parts of the tour. So they handle most of it, and I think Steve Brown and Ace split like rhythm guitar and bass on there as well. And also PJ Harvey from Trickster, I think, plays some bass on there as well. He doesn't use his live band, I don't think, at all on this album, but I'll talk about them later when I review the show. So the song 10,000 Volts, they made a video for that, and that's been out for a while. So that definitely is a great song, great riff. When I first heard it, I was like, it's okay, nothing special. But as the time went on, I liked it more and more. And it's still, I think, one of his best songs, solo-wise, ever. Next up, Walking on the Moon. Sort of like an offbeat, mid-tempo song. They have a video for this as well. I don't think it's that great of a song. It's okay. I think Steve Brown was more of an influence on this song. Cosmic Heart. It's kind of a modern heavy song. Again, I don't know the origins of who wrote that originally. And then there's Cherry Medicine, which is his latest video. That's okay. It's a pretty good song, but the chorus of that song, if you ever heard Supersonic by Oasis, it's like the melody is like identical. I don't know. That has to be like a Steve Brown influence right there. So if you're a fan of Ace and you know this song, go listen to Supersonic by Oasis and tell me that's not the same chorus. And Back Into My Arms, again, closes out the first side. So Back Into My Arms, if you've been a fan of Ace, that demo actually goes back to like his original Frehley's Comet days, pre first album. I think it was recorded originally in 1985. And they were just, the story goes that him and Steve Brown were just looking on YouTube at some of his demos, or listening to some of his demos, and Steve Brown was like, "What's this?" And so he said, "Oh, we have to record that for the album." It's not very different than the original demo. I don't know if they used the basic tracks. Even the vocals sound very similar. It's a little old-fashioned as far as like the chorus and verses, a little hokey, but it does, I guess, give that throwback to the '80s period for him. So side B starts out with, a lot of people were saying it's the best song on the album, Fighting for Life. Definitely the heaviest song on the album, and probably one of them that would have fit on like his last couple studio albums. Anton Fig plays drums on that as well. Blinded, that's just an okay regular rocker. I guess the subject matter, it's kind of funny. The main line of the song is blinded by science, which usually certain people are saying, I follow the science, but maybe he's saying they're being blinded by science. Next up is Constantly Cute, which musically is really good melody, but the lyrics are like really pretty cringe. I wish this song had totally different lyrics. It would have been one of the best songs on the album. I think it's co-written by his current fiance, whatever her name is. Life of a Stranger is a cover. I forgot what movie it's from, but totally different than the original. I think that's just okay. When Steve Brown was interviewed, he said that when they talked about producing the album, Ace said, I always do a cover. There has to be one song about space and there has to be an instrumental on it, which all three of these has, just like all his albums. Up in the Sky is a pretty good song. I got nothing special. Stratosphere is the closing instrumental. And that's kind of like not very memorable as far as all of those fractured instrumentals he has on his album. Fractured 1, 2, 3, Quantum. I wish he would do a different type of instrumental. That's kind of why I like Second Sighting from Frehley's Comet, because he had the acorn is spinning on there, which is a totally different type of instrumental than that. But overall, people are saying, oh, this is his best album since the 78 solo album. Definitely not. In fact, I think it's probably, I would rank it below probably Space Invader overall. Probably not as good as Trouble Walking either. Just because I think there's a few really good strong songs on here, but not as consistent as Space Invader. Like I said, 10,000 Volts, probably one of his best songs he ever did as a solo artist. But there's also that modern feel to this album, which is a little different than some of his other albums. Fighting for Life is really the only heavy song on there. Like Spaceman and Space Invader had a few heavy songs on there, like Bronx Boy, things like that. But I mean, out of 5 stars, I would probably give this at least 3.5. I mean, I have to say, like, I would definitely put this on before Monster or even Sonic Boom, I would say. In the last 20 years, Ace's output has been pretty consistent. He's had, I think this is his 4th studio album, and he's had 2 covers albums. And, I think that he's had at least 10 great songs throughout those 4 albums, where in between Monster and Sonic Boom from the Kiss albums, what is there, a couple of really great songs? Modern Day Delilah and maybe 1 or 2 others. So, yeah, this blows Monster out of the water. So, moving on to the show part of it. So I'm in Carteret, New Jersey at a theater, which is cool that he's actually playing a lot of theaters this tour as opposed to clubs. So it's more comfortable than having to stand and wade through all these local bands. So the show I saw was actually Ace and Angel from the 70s and White Tiger. So I had assumed that White Tiger was the White Tiger with Mark St. John with a different guitar player. But no, apparently there was this White Tiger that was popular in the early 80s, the Jersey Shore area, and had some, I guess, original material, but now they're a full-fledged cover band. So they were actually really good. They played a couple Led Zeppelin songs. They opened up with Ain't That a Shame, Cheap Trick's version. They played Rock Candy from Montrose. Singer was really good. Guitar player was really good. And I actually found a clip of them on YouTube from like 1982 playing an original song on a local TV show. So that's not the White Tiger that I had assumed that Mark St. John was in. So next comes up Angel, and I had never seen Angel. In fact, I don't even know. I know they played last year up in Teaneck, New Jersey, but other than that, I don't think they've played up in New Jersey for years. In fact, I don't even think they played in their heyday in the 70s. They didn't play a lot on the East Coast. I think they were more popular in the Midwest. But they came out in their full white outfits. They played about 10 songs, all the ones you'd expect. Opened up with On the Rocks. They played Cast the First Stone, The Fortune. I think 1 or 2 new ones from their last 2 albums. And, of course, closed the show with The Tower. But so Angel now is out of the members. There's 3 there's Frank Domino, how do you spell his name? Punky Meadows, of course, on guitar, and Felix Robinson on bass, who was their bass player, I think, after their third album. So those three guys are from the original band in the 70s. And they got a couple other, they got a new drummer, added a second guitar player, and the keyboard player, I don't remember his name. But they sounded great. Frank's voice was like really good. And I'm kind of attributing that to the fact that they didn't have a big touring history, so he never like wore out his voice. Although I did see a couple times where he's doing these high-pitched screams. The keyboard player was hitting something on his keyboard to maybe like some sort of delay or something to stretch it out. But he still could sing good because there was a couple things he sang like a cappella and he still sounded really good. I could not believe how many Angel fans were actually there. I mean, I thought that, it was going to be mostly a Kiss crowd and Ace crowd, but there was a ton of Angel fans. And the fact that they came out basically they came out in 1975 was their first album, so the same era as Kiss, but their fans seem so much older. Like some of these women that were dressed up all in their metal gear for Angel, they had to be pushing 70, whereas the Kiss fans were like, I guess, 50s or so. But overall, it was a lot of a major older crowd. So many people walking in with their canes and everything else, which was crazy. But getting to Ace, I've been watching YouTubes, and like the last year or two, he hasn't been playing well live at all. Like he's really slow, missing half the vocals, his guitar solos are like kind of off. But ever since that Monsters of Rock cruise, I believe in March, he's been like, they've totally revamped and they're playing the songs at full speed. His playing is much better. So they sounded really good. It was a standard set list. Basically opened with Shock Me into Rocket Ride, which is that's the one thing I have to complain about is the sort of the order of the set list. Like Shock Me, Rocket Ride are probably his two biggest Kiss songs, or most well known that he sang. Those should be at the end of the show. Then he goes into 10,000 Volts, which we're in New Jersey, so Steve Brown lives in New Jersey. Steve Brown actually came out on stage and played that with him, so he's done that. That sounded awesome. Then they went into Rock Soldiers, which was cool. And that was it as far as Ace's solo album stuff, besides the New York Groove and Rip It Out from the 78 solo album. So he only played a total of 4 solo album songs. And he played Love Gun, Detroit Rock City, Rock and Roll All Night. He did play Strange Ways, which was cool. He played Parasite. It's a total of like 15 songs, I think. But like I said, the order, he should have switched definitely Strange Ways and Rock Soldiers. He should have had Rock Soldiers toward the end. Because Strange Ways they played like second to last, which is sort of an odd spot. And then the encore was Deuce and Rock and Roll All Night. But I have to say, the songs that got the 2 biggest reactions were 10,000 Volts and Rock Soldiers, which showed me that was really an Ace crowd. And not sure how many of you followed his career throughout the 90s. He didn't put out an album from 1990 all the way through Anomaly, which is the early 2000s. So in the 90s, he toured basically New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, up until the reunion tour. So from like 90 to 96, he almost became like a local regional band in New Jersey. So I wish he would have adjusted his set list more because these were real Ace fans. They would have liked to seen, I think, more solo songs rather than the Kiss songs. But I know why he's doing it now. He's saying, well, they're not playing these songs now, so I might as well do it. So, yeah, I wish he had done that more, because if he had seen his shows in the 90s, he was playing all kinds of crazy stuff. They were great. But overall, like I said, the 2 biggest songs that got the crowd reaction, I think, to me, were 10,000 Volts and Rock Soldiers. And so sitting right in front of me, and I only overheard him talking to the person next to him, was Ace's bass player from the 90s. His name's Carl Cochran. He actually co-wrote Into the Void on Psycho Circus. if you remember that song. And he about 5-10 years ago, he had a stroke. So he hasn't, I guess he's been doing okay now. So yeah, he was talking to a couple of the guys, and I thought I overheard him say that this is the first time he saw Ace since then. So I kind of felt bad for him in a way, because you could tell he was watching and like sort of thinking like, oh, he should maybe be up there with him. But Ace got rid of his band after the Spaceman tour, or before that, which was Richie Scarlett and Scott Coogan and Richie. Oh, I can't think of his name. I can't think of the bass player's name. He got Gene's band in, which along with Matt Starr was his drummer. And now he got Scott Coogan back, which is good because he can do a great Paul Stanley impression. He sang Love Gun and stuff. And he still has a guitar player and bass player that was with him from Gene's band, Jeremy something, and I can't think of the name. So now it's just a 4-piece. He did have that other extra guitar player for a while, so I think this is his best live lineup in a long, long time. You know, as good as Anton Fig is on drums, I never pictured him as that dynamic of a live drummer, where Scott Coogan is really like crazy. He basically almost sings along with Ace every song. So there's definitely not any tracks or anything like that. He's basically singing the songs with Ace, sort of as a backup. And he's a great drummer live. Maybe live he doesn't translate to the studio, that's why he doesn't use him so much. But I think this is a really good live band for him. I just wish like he would toy with the set list. I mean, they only played one song from his new album. I mean, really? They played more songs. I think his last solo album, throughout the tour, they played like at least 4 songs from it. So definitely glad to see that he improved his performance-wise from last year or so. So I think he's taking a break now. I don't know if he's revamping and maybe going out on tour later again, but I would definitely see him on this tour. And if he has a great opening act again, like Angel, that would be cool so he could play theaters instead of clubs. So anyway, that's my review of the album and the tour. So if you like these videos, please subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.